Hello and welcome to the preview show. Joining myself and Graham this week will be Monarchs Ricky Wells and Ipswich Witches Danny King. Of course, we look forward to welcoming the Witches to Armadale on Friday night, Graham. This is easily our toughest test of the season so far, with so many riders in the Ipswich team. Experts around here, to say the least.
I think so. I mean, when the guy with the third pedigree round here, you'd probably say is the British champion Danny King, that just shows what you're up against. It's some team.
Of course, there's two ex-Monarchs on the Ipswich side this week, Graham. Looking at Justin Sedgman and Rory Sline. Two guys that are absolutely amazing to watch around here. Really looking forward to seeing the guys coming back on Friday. But as I said, tough test. And if the Monarchs get through this one unscathed, it'll be very impressive. We said before last week's meeting against Redcar that if we manage to get through the Redcar and Ipswich meetings with 2 wins, we'll be doing very well.
I think so. Ipswich have maybe had a bit of a stop-start to the season. Stop-start, if that makes sense. With injuries, they've had to make a few changes. But you look at that team from top to bottom. I think Nathan Greaves is coming at the bottom. He's doing well. We all know, I never mentioned Cameron Heaps there. I'm pretty sure he was on 14 or 15. He got here a couple of years ago. And he's 5th in their averages. Justin won the Scottish Open at the start of the season. Rory, he's got the 2nd top average in the week or something. I've seen the other week. He's flying.
This is Rory's best season in a while.
I think so. I don't know if it's... we've seen it with other riders where maybe dropping down a level, getting a few heat wins, it builds the confidence up. You then go and think you can beat everyone. Whether the fact he's had a good injury-free run, obviously that always helps. I don't know if he's got quite as many international commitments, so maybe a bit more settled, a bit older. He's got family now, had that for a few years, but maybe just being here all the time, able to base himself and spend more time with that. We know how much we've spoke to him and how many riders have we spoke this year that say speed was a head game. And maybe just if he's maybe in a happier headspace now, and that's shown on the track.
Of course, we're going to get into the Ipswich a wee bit more depth later on in the show, but just to go back to Redcar on Friday night slightly, obviously we were supposed to be at Newcastle on Sunday. That one got rained off, as we've seen. It was fairly cut and dry, so to speak. But Redcar, looking back over it, it was a good win, but it's obviously came at a price with a couple of riders. We know Max kind of hurt himself, Ricky with his rib injury. You spoke to Ricky this week, how's he feeling?
He's feeling a bit second hand. It's a rib injury, and we all know, anyone who's ever hurt a rib knows how awkward that is. You can't get comfy, you can't sleep, you can't sit down, you move it hurts, you breathe it hurts, and for a speedway rider, even need to set up in the workshop and stuff, it's not ideal, but he's going to give it a go. Obviously this will go out on Thursday. He was due to ride for Rye House last night, he's due to ride for Rye House tonight, so probably couldn't have come at a worse time as well with such a busy schedule, but we know what speedway riders are made of, so he's going to be out there giving it his all.
Of course, we're going to hear from Ricky later on in the show, but Sam looked absolutely fantastic in Friday night. He really was one that went out and attacked the track. He did say afterwards that perhaps the patch in the first corner that was catching a lot of the riders out, if you rode through it at full gas, but that's quite easy for Sam to say sometimes because he's the best rider, probably one of the best rider in the league, if not, he's arguably up there. But with certain riders who maybe struggled to get grips, I mean, it's pretty amazing that Mark was in 2 paid wins after his first 2 heats. Don't think he particularly enjoyed Friday night. But would it be fair to say that even if the track was going to be like that, that riders are just looking for the consistency and they know what they're coming to each week?
I think so. We've spoke to Sam numerous times this season, and he's been asking for it to be like that since day one. They finally got some more clay into the base, which is what they were looking for. But I think then maybe obviously we've had such a long run of dry weather that they got the clay in, so they had to overcompensate to put the grip in. That a bit of natural rain would added to it. When we had so much rain last week, I believe it was a week's worth of rain in 30 hours we had. Sort of Monday, Tuesday, we had more rain on Thursday and more rain on Friday afternoon. So actually, I think plaudits have got to go to the track, guys that are sitting up there having a cup of tea just now instead of out on the track. Come on, boys. For getting a track that was actually pretty raceable. Okay, there was a few incidents, but I think actually if you take it, there was a few racing incidents that compounded what looked like the few issues with the track. Okay, there was still been a few followers, but I don't think the track, we know the track had nothing to do with Eric coming off, he lost a steel shoe. I don't think the track had anything really to do with when Williamson and Clegg came together.
Or Garrity in the first heat.
Garrity, Wells and Wright, when they came together, then Max couldn't avoid them. So you take off, and there's 4, maybe 5 incidents mentioned, you take them out, and okay, we maybe still had 3 or 4 followers after that, but it's not like the track was dangerous.
In that context, it's not.
I mean, I've not seen anything. Redcar. None of the Redcar riders, certainly on social media, have come out and said anything bad about the place. The Redcar promotion.
The only thing I've seen is that they just said that the track was difficult, but most of the riders said that it was the same for everybody. Like, it was just the one of the nights, the kind of things that what could have went wrong did go wrong, so to speak.
And I think we've maybe got it back to how it used to be. At the start of the season, one of the complaints we were always hearing was it was too easy to ride. Obviously, this was the second time red car had come up, so setups might have came into it. If the guys are coming up expecting it to be like it was 6 weeks ago, whenever they were here, they're set up for a slick track where they can get out the gate and sit comfortably. When they show up, it's a little bit patchy, it's a little bit grippy. Wrong setups can cause the bikes to do weird and wonderful things, and that probably helped, or didn't help, sorry, as well.
The thing is that we've got to establish some sort of home advantage as well. I mean, we've seen it, well, you've never seen it, I've seen it at Ipswich myself, where it was heavily set up for Ipswich, especially when they were losing, not to create any sort of slander. This is Scott Frame's opinion only at this point. It was fairly well set up for the home riders, especially in the middle batch of heats. But I think it's important that, as Sam said, if we get the track the same each week, we'll start seeing a home advantage building. And as you've mentioned in the past, when teams are coming here for a second time, we don't want to give them any sort of cause for positivity, so to speak. Exactly.
I mean, and there's still riders, Jonas B. Anderson still went out to 11 or 12 points, as did Ben Barker. So it's still, we've seen Kyle Howarth the week before do the same as he did the first time he was here. So I hesitate to say your top riders are your better riders, but the guys that can ride different sizes, different shapes, different conditions, I'll still settle it. And you're right, as long as we put on a consistent racetrack that doesn't have, and there's, we've got one of the best track teams, if not the best track team in the business. There's never any bumps, there's never any unexpected patches. You never see anyone go in and fire off across a corner really, unless they've made a mistake. So as long as that continues, why not prepare it for your home guys? You're always going to do that. Every track in the country does that.
It really was a solid team display though, when you look from top to bottom. Everybody done their job and some, so that's pretty positive as well, again against a team that's already been here this season.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, from memory, I think every member of the team had a win or a paid win. I'm trying to work back down from my head, they did, and you can't ask for any more than that. Obviously Max, before his knock, was back up there. Mitch, we spoke to him on Friday, just doing what he needed to do, avoiding the pratfalls, as it were, and scoring the point. Sam unbeaten. Ricky was unbeaten before he crashed out. Eric would have been unbeaten but for a steel shoe. Josh got to grips with it and picked up his heat win. So you've got to take positives from everyone really. It was one of those performances that we've kind of maybe said, if we get everyone clicking, we'll put a big score on Sunday. And red car are no mugs, particularly Alvin Williamson guessing at reserve, and we still managed to put a 22-point defeat on them. So I think there's a lot of positives that you've got to take from that.
Course, as we said, Ricky picked up a rib injury on Friday evening, and Graham caught up with him ahead of Friday's match.
So joining us now on the preview show is Monarchs star Ricky Wells. How are you doing, Rick?
Yeah, good, thank you.
So just started off by looking back at last Friday. Obviously, not a great night for yourself. Had to pull out your last race after your incident there. How are you feeling?
Yeah, just sore, but it's getting better. I feel a lot better now than I did Saturday morning, that's for sure. So, tough one. Started off pretty good, but I've had a few issues this year with bad luck or whatever. And last Friday was just completely my fault. Running to the back of Charles Wright, who'd come into the corner quite slow in my opinion, but track was a little bit tricky and stuff like that. So glad I could walk away from it, and it's a bummer I pulled out of my last ride, but I was feeling pretty secondhand, so it had to be done.
I mean, you mentioned the track there. Obviously, there was quite a few followers, but I mean, do you think it was actually just one of those nights where there was actually a few racing incidents which made it look like the track was maybe a little bit worse? I mean, I know Sam after the match said he loved the track.
Yeah, I didn't think there was an issue with the track. My crash was nothing to do with the track. To be fair, there was a few people bumping and banging and stuff in the beginning, and the track was a little bit heavy, but you can't really do anything about the weather. It was either ride that track or not race at all, and I don't think the track was bad. Judging by my first two rides, I think I did okay. So it's when the track is slick there, it is a lot easier for people to come there, and you get people winning races that wouldn't win it if it was like that how it was last week. So at the end of the day, that's our decision on what we want on the track, and when you have a few guys complaining and stuff and saying that it's like, well, crap how it always is, like Kenneth Hansen and stuff like that, they can, I've seen Peterborough bad on a few days, and it's a speedway track at the end of the day. It's not going to be a perfect billiards table, so if they don't like it, maybe call in sick that Friday.
And I think that's something we've spoken before, in particular, most of the Monarchs were looking for the track to be grippier. Obviously, with such a dry run that they've maybe had to create that grip by putting a lot more clay into it. And then last week we get so much rain that that obviously rain always adds grip as well, or a little bit anyway, is what you want. So do you think that maybe just caught out Redcar, who obviously Redcar had already been up earlier on in the season when the track was slick. So do you think that's maybe what the trouble was it caught them out this time?
Yeah, we've been saying for weeks now to mix a little bit more clay in and get the grip back to where, how it used to be. I remember going there at Edinburgh years ago when Fisher was number one, and it used to be identical to Wolves. It used to be so grippy and stuff on a small, tight track, but in Edinburgh used to smash teams 60-30 week in, week out. So, I think it's going to benefit us in the long run, having a little bit more home track advantage. And, yeah, all the boys will get used to it. And between me, Sam, Eric, and I think everyone, really, they want it grippier. So I think it'll be good this week with a bit better weather and stuff like that. So we should be okay.
And if we're moving on to this week, it's a busy week for yourself. I believe obviously you've got the Rye House tonight, Swindon tomorrow, then up to Armadale on Friday. So 3 tough opponents. It's going to be quite a tough week for yourself.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough one tonight with Bellevue's team. They have a lot of guys that were very good in the Premier League and stuff like that, and Rye House is a pretty new track to the Elite League, so tonight will be tough. They're all tough. I mean, tomorrow's going to be tough as well, especially the form that Jason Doyle's in, and Swindon's always been a tough place to go, and then Ipswich Friday. I think that is going to be a tricky one. I think the likes of Rory and Danny King goes good anywhere and stuff like that. But we look forward to it, and we'll see how we get on.
You mentioned that there, obviously, the Ipswich team, they've got quite an Armadale pedigree. Obviously, you've got Rory, you've got Justin Sedgman, Cameron Heaps, I believe, actually just picked you to be voted the best visitor of the year back in 2014. So it's certainly going to be a tough one, but shouldn't the boys will have enough to see them through?
Yeah, they're all tough. It's obviously Rory did a few years at Edinburgh years ago, and but I think we can get there. When we ran him close to Ipswich, I think with a little bit more luck that you need to win some meetings, if we would have had that, we would have run him even closer again. So it was if we can win by anything, honestly, it'd be good to win by 10, but we'll see what we can do.
And then obviously the new averages come into force again this week, which sees Josh moved into reserve. Obviously we've got strong reserves all season in Mark and in Matt. My opinion anyway, I don't see this weakening us anyway, and actually should allow Josh to build up a lot more confidence and get a few more race wins under his belt.
Yeah, if he doesn't do it at reserve, I don't really know what to say. It's he has struggled for confidence a little bit in the last few weeks. His starts are getting better. I think a case of over-trying sometimes, crashing when he's in a scoring position is, it kind of changes his night from a good night to like a so-so night. So I think if he would have stayed up at Ipswich when he was on a 5-1, he could have left there thinking, cool night. But just little mistakes really. It's, and being at reserve, you do get that easy first race at Heat 2. So if you can win that, it kind of kickstart your night, and then you get on a roll as well when you're at reserve. If you're racing 5 or 6 times a night, it's just, it gets easier and easier through the night because you just get in the zone and stuff, and you're not really thinking. So.
Moving away maybe from the Monarchs slightly, obviously the World Cup teams were announced this week. No Greg Hancock for the USA now, so I guess he'll be looked at as probably the most experienced in the European side of things, and it's sort of looking at those younger guys too. Is that something you're looking forward to?
Yeah, it is. It's obviously a shame that Greg's not in it. He's got his reasons for not being involved, which I think he wants to move on a little bit from it. And we rely on Greg so heavily, and I've always said that we can't rely on him for forever. So fully respect his decision, and we'll see how it goes. I'm looking forward to it. Obviously, the goal is to get out of King's Lynn and then move on from there. But it's a team effort, and we'll see what we can do.
So again, Graham, Ipswich come here on Friday night. Speaking to Danny King before the Ipswich match last week, they're very confident of coming up here and getting a point, or at least a point. Sorry, I should say. But is there advantage at reserve here? Because obviously they get Nathan Greaves, who took a fairly heavy fall at Ipswich last Thursday, Connor Mountain, who from memory hasn't been here. But we've got Josh Pickering down there now. Mitchell's going well.
Yeah.
That could be our match winner down there, couldn't it?
I think so. We've seen over the last couple of weeks just what we've had since the start of the season. We've always had a powerhouse number 6. First it was Mark, then it was Max, and now Josh gets his go. And looking at the way Josh has sort of picked himself back up or got back on the points the last couple of weeks, I don't see any reason why he won't go down there and put in a double-figure score. We can't ask for too much out of them all, and we always just say if Mitch beats other oppositions, number 7 is doing his job. This is a week where I'm maybe looking for a little bit more from Mitch. I'd be expecting him, not handily, but I would hope that he would have the beating of both their reserves. However, Nathan Greaves rides for Wolves. We all know that Wolves is quite a similar track. Armadale are certainly prepared. Obviously, we know that Doc's involved down there. He works up here on the Friday as well. So I don't think it'll be a place that will hold any great fear for Nathan Greaves. But I would expect that that's where we should be able to pick up the points. If the top 5...
Mitch's big problem is picking up points against their top 5.
Yeah, that's it. And particularly when you look at their top 5, from top to bottom, there's not a weak link there where you can say, right, well, we can target him. But I mean, all Mitch can do is get out the gate like he's been doing, pick his lines, and we'll see what comes. And I'd be hoping for minimum 3 or 4 points again from Mitch.
As you mentioned, Josh Pickering goes to reserve this week. The Monarchs of the promotions chose to keep Mark Briss at number 2 for this match, and Max Clegg will go into number 4. Looking at the Ipswich side though, with Danny King at 1, Kyle Newman at 2, they've changed their riding order about for this match as well, with Justin Sedgman at 3 and Cameron Heaps at 4. Would that be a sensible move by the promotion to keep Mark Briss up against Kyle Newman for this match?
I think so. For me, it's maybe not even looking at the teams. For me, I think at home you've maybe got to expect to be up against a tactical. Maybe not against Ipswich or Sheffield, Glasgow's the top teams, but most 9 times out of 10 you'd be up against a tactical. And we all know that you can't use a tactical after heat 12. So for me, and I'm not saying Max is the weakest member of the top 5 in any way, shape or form, but for me I would always have that lowest average rider in the top 5 at number 4, because that way they're in heat 14. So you're kind of protecting yourself that comes your heat 12 will have Eric, heat, was it 1, 5, 8 and 10, whenever Mark will be in there. So you've always got those strong pairings right the way through. If there's a tactical, hopefully you can nullify it, and by that point you're that far ahead that you've got that little bit of leeway, because certainly heats 13 and 15 are going to be huge on Friday night as well.
It's going to be a massive night for Ricky Wells as well, directly up against Rory. We've seen him actually get the better of Rory in heat 4 down at Ipswich. So it's not as if Rory's unbeatable here. I'm not saying that by any manner of means, but Ricky's going to be on his best form here to get the better of his opposite number. Yeah,
definitely. We've seen Ricky come back into form, I would say, a bit more the last few weeks. He started off the season on fire, whether then maybe when he took the Rye House stuff on, if he just needed a couple of weeks to get used to the travel and the setup of riding, when you've not been riding too much, to start riding more. But certainly last Friday he looked to be back on the gas before his incident, and we'll need that again. And I'd say the same about Eric as well. We need last Friday's Eric and last Thursday's Eric. I believe he was tremendous at Ipswich.
I think we need a massive team performance. This is an Ipswich side that are very, very strong. And I actually do it. Justin Sedgman said a couple of weeks back that he thinks they're the team to beat in the league, and I've got to agree, if I'm being honest. We know Glasgow's got a very strong top 3. This is a massively strong top 5. I don't think we can I don't think we can build this up enough. I mean, when you've got the British champion at number 1, you've got Kyle Newman, who's a seasoned performer.
He spent how many years at number 1 for Plymouth?
Exactly.
And now he's sitting in second string.
And you've got Sedgy, we know what he's capable of. We've seen it this season in the Scottish Open. Cameron Heaps, I believe in 2014, I think I'd done a poll when with the podcast, and Cameron Heaps get the best away rider of the season. I mean, that's right from top to bottom in their top 5, at least, at the very least, is the strongest top 5 that we're going to come up against this season.
I think so. And for me, as well, we're looking at it, you mentioned Sedgman there. I mean, I think it's a really key meeting for him. I mean, I don't pay too much attention to internet forums and things like that, but I think there's a few Ipswich fans starting to grumble just a wee bit at some of Justin's performances. And we all know from the past with Justin that he is a form rider. Once he gets himself up and gets that confidence going and gets that form going, it's a runaway train and it doesn't stop. And I think he's maybe just, I've not spoken to him personally, you know better than I do, but looking at his scores, he's maybe that's down a little bit just now. But coming to a place like this, he's, as I mentioned, he's already been here, won the Open, we all know what he's capable here. I think he could be okay for this to be that kickstart, and if he was to put in a a match-winning performance for them. It would get the Ipswich fans back on side.
Newman's in the exact same boat as
Yeah.
that. I think the two of them, as you say, there's maybe a couple of grumblings here and there. Kyle's been slightly unlucky this season with injuries and stuff, and of course very unlucky to get dropped for pull through the week as well. So there's a lot of points to prove there as well. This is what makes this Ipswich team even more dangerous. I mean, they've probably got a lot more to prove than what the Edinburgh Riders have to a certain degree. And I'm pretty sure that Ipswich fans would expect their side to be coming to any track these days and challenging to win. So, as I say, it'll be interesting. It's just to pick up on Danny King. Obviously, he's probably up there with Sam, with the top rider in the league, up there with Cookie as well. Danny, we know what he's capable of. Of course, we've seen it last season in the British final, British champion, involved in the Grand Prix. I don't think we can build Danny up enough as an individual either. I mean, this is going to be an epic battle between him and Sam. The two of them always seem to have good races against one another.
I think so. I mean, I said that earlier in the show that he's probably the third most talked about rider in this team from a Monarchs point of view, and he's British champion, and he was 1 point away for the semi-final in Cardiff last year. You know, he's scoring big points for Leicester most weeks in the Premiership.
He's going really well.
It's going really well, and I think
last week at Ipswich against the Monarchs, it was nigh on unbeatable.
I mean, particularly around Vauxhall, he's untouchable. I remember we went down there for the playoff meeting at the end of last season, and in his last 8 matches before he faced us, he had one engine failure, and without that engine failure he dropped 2 points in 8 matches. But that form comes up away from home as well, and particularly, I think, on a track like we're probably going to have on Friday, he seems to love the big, deep kind of stuff. I mean, you've seen that British final last year, and we've got to get out in front of him, because if he gets out in front, it's going to be very tough. You know, for Sam, for Ricky, for anyone in this league. If you're a rider of the calibre of Danny King, get in front of you, you're up against it.
Of course, Danny's someone that's fairly familiar around here. He's been coming here for years upon years. We're going to see a race now from Danny's Milden Holidays, and then we'll hear from Danny after that as well.
Well, the referee applying a fairly harsh 2-minute allowance there. Daniel King just beat it. This time Daniel King is away better, but in fact the Monarchs have worked their way past him, or Derek Snedden has, and Tessari assisted in that. Tessari just holding off Frampton there. Snedden ahead of King, the first time anybody's got in front of the Mildenhall man. Tessari looking quite useful in third as well. King going for the outside. Derek tends to be not all that quick. King really closing in. There's not a lot of grip in the track, but if Derek's as tight as that, he's giving King a chance. He's moved out to block him there. King gets to the inside and he could squeeze through here, but Snedden's fought back. Good battle, half a lap to go. King going for the outside again. Frampton's fallen. Oh my goodness. And that possibly would be rated unfair by Derek Snedden there. I think the red light went on. Not quite sure what the referee's decision is going to be. There's no exclusion light on at the moment.
Danny, your Ipswich team travel to Armadale, really strong top 5, but looking to challenge for a win there?
Yeah, obviously always. You know, we're really happy with the team we've got, and you know, I believe we got a team that can win anywhere, but obviously it's always difficult when you're going to tough teams. I think the attitude we've got to take is you've got to try and get something. You know, if we can't win, we need to try and get a point at least. So, and I believe we've got a team that can do that anywhere. So obviously we're going there looking for a win, but as I say, worst case scenario, hopefully we'll get something out of it.
You've had two kind of lengthy injuries in your team, which forced you into change. Justin Sedgman and Nathan Greaves coming in, but it's not really weakened you any, has it?
No, not at the moment. We've been quite lucky in that respect, if you can say that. Yeah, with some nasty injuries, to be fair. It's not been a great start for us, but as you say, we've managed to pounce on riders at the right time, and we've managed to keep that strength in depth, which is what we need. Yeah, it's early doors still. There's a long way to go this year, and we just need to keep our head down and try and avoid more injuries.
It seems to be getting fairly stacked at the top of the championship, but Danny, so how important are points at every single meeting?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, you need to win at home every week, and you need to get points on the road. We know that. It's going to be key this year because, as you say, it's such a close league at the moment.
Just individually, are you happy with your start to the season?
I wasn't happy with my start to the season, but I'm happy with how it's been this last month or so. We've made a lot of changes, and yeah, we seem to be back to where I was last year now, and I feel a lot more confident going to the tapes now, and in any league, and it's nice to sort of feel like that as the British finals only around the corner.
Of course, you're going to defend that this time. You're confident getting into that meeting?
Yeah, you know, I believe I can do it again, and it's not going to be easy, that's for sure. There's a lot of good riders in it, and they're always tough events, you know, especially on the system it is. You can't have any exclusions or breakdowns or anything like that, because points may get you to that final at the end of the day. But yeah, I believe my form's good enough, and if it's my night, it'll be my night. Obviously,
just looking at the Premiership as it's known now, you had a wee bit of what would the correct phrase be? A start to the season you possibly didn't envisage, having to change teams so early, but you're now settled in at Leicester. How are you enjoying that? Yeah, good now. As I say, didn't start the way I wanted to start. It's been very up and down, and it was quite frustrating for a while. But yeah, as I say, this last month's been really good. I'm really happy with the bikes and my form, and I seem to be getting used to the Leicester track, because obviously it was new to me, and I had a few clashes beginning of the year, so I missed a lot of home meetings. So I've only done 3 now, I think, but I feel better every week. So we've got a few more home meetings now in the next weeks to come, and hopefully I'll settle in more and more. Well, we look forward to seeing you at Armadale next week. Cheers, thank you.
Heat 11, Charles Wright, Danny King, Richie Worrell, and a tough gate 4 here for Craig Cook. He's away well enough, but it's Danny King who's gone to the front. Cook round the outside. He's just ahead, I think, of Richie Worrell, is he? Yes, he is now, because Worrell locked up. So King leads from Cook, and the chase is on. Going to be tough, though. These Elite League boys, once they're in front, how do you catch them? Making up a little bit of ground, perhaps. Only 1 lap, though, to do it. No mistakes by King. No inside line tonight. The track is actually disappointing, I would say. And that was, in the end, quite comfortable for Danny King. Craig won't be too worried about dropping a single point, but it's a pity there's not more of an inside line to give some of the riders a chance to do something.
Thanks to Danny for taking the time to speak to us there. Of course, the second race you seen there was from a British semi-final back in 2014, when he came up against the nigh on unbeatable Craig Cook at that point. Again, further showing how tough an opposition he's going to be on Friday evening. The first race you seen there was slightly comical. I think Derek done well to hang on to the win there, Graham.
We'll take some refereeing decisions like that on Friday night.
Of course. We're going to go now to a regular feature that's a blast from the past. We've got 2 classic races here from Ipswich meetings going by. The first of which is from 1995 at Powder Hall, where Scott Lamb took on the very impressive Ben Howe.
1994 Scottish Open champion, and he did it mostly from the back. And it's the home men again, though, have made the start. But Ben Howe impressively round the outside. Scott Lamb, though, I think has held him off. Lamb leads into the 3rd turn. Ben Howe likes to go for the outside, and he's certainly got into second, sweeping across Paul Bentley's path there. This is the Ben Howe that we enjoy seeing, especially when he's not riding for the opposition. But Scott Lamb's hanging on to that lead just at the moment. Here comes Howe on the inside, galloping hard. Now he swings to the outside, thrilling riding by Howe, turning it and coming back up the inside, and I think he's through. Although Scott Lamb will fight hard round the outside here, but Howe's gone through. That's superb riding by Howe, showing his teammates the way it's done. Really is in a class of his own when it comes to overtaking. The Edinburgh men well ahead of Emerson Fairweather, and Howe going tremendously quick and building up a huge lead in the lap or so since he went to the front. Terrific ride by Ben Howe. That's really great.
Next up in the blast of the past, we see Andy Tully taking on Taylor Poole and his big mate Kevin Doolan. Can I get the better of the 2 witches?
Heat 5 looks like a big heat. Taylor Poole, Andrew Tully, Kevin Doolan and Matthew Weathers. And the witches again have gated. Tully trying to find a room on the inside, but there's none there. Doolan's a wee bit awkwardly placed on the outside, and there's a big gap up the inside. Tully isn't there. Poole again, locking up there. Here comes Doolan again though, he's come through on Tully. That's terrific riding by Kevin Doolan, really outstanding. Tully again round the outside. This is a tremendous battle. Poole keeps locking up there. There's Tully, got back round Doolan again. What's going to happen at this bend? End of lap 3 coming up. Here's Weathers. Weathers is up inside Doolan. What a race. Poole's going very wide. Nobody's able to take advantage, and Weathers has come hard inside Doolan. Doolan might get back though. Oh, what a finish. Who on earth got that win? I thought it might be Tully, but I'm not certain. And third, I think, was Doolan, but I'm not certain about that either.
Big thanks to Mike for the blast for the past this week. Another couple of cracking races there, Graham. Don't forget you can buy your tickets for Friday's match online on the Monarchs website, so get over there now and get your discounted tickets. But if not, of course, it's pay at the gate, Graham. Yep. You can come and pay it at the gate for Friday's match between the Parson People Monarchs and the Ipswich Bitches. It's going to be a cracker, probably the meeting of the season so far at this level.
I think so. Everything's set fair. You know, we've got a team that's coming up that look incredibly strong. We've spoke about, you know, the forecast is good. The track already, you know, the guys are out there, it's looking good. Big crowd, hopefully. You know what, I think we might just sneak this. 46-44, 47-43, that's my prediction.
It's going to be tight, no matter what, it's going to be tight. We'll look forward to seeing you on Friday evening at the match, and of course you can catch us on the Friday Focus on Saturday morning. But until then, good night.
Right.